1, 0. All engine running.
Ladder now. I'm at the foot of the ladder.
The moon landing, a giant leap for mankind or a carefully concealed truth. On July 20th, 1969, humanity held its breath as Neil Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface, etching his name into history with words that would echo for generations. Yet, beneath the awe-inspiring triumph, whispers of doubt began to swirl almost instantly. Conspiracy theories about the Apollo 11 mission have since become a cultural phenomenon, ranging from the wildly absurd to the eerily plausible. While most have been dismantled by science, a select few have emerged from the shadows of speculation to reveal startling truths. This journey through the moon landing's hidden corners will unravel the myths, dissect the evidence, and shine a light on the conspiracy theories that turned out to be more than mere fiction. To grasp why these theories took root, we must first step back into the turbulent world of 1969. The Apollo 11 mission wasn't just a scientific marvel, it was a geopolitical chess move. The Cold War had turned the space race into a high-stakes battle between the United States and the Soviet Union, each vying to prove its technological and ideological superiority. Landing on the moon wasn't merely an exploration, it was a victory lap in a global showdown. The stakes were astronomical, and the pressure on NASA was immense. Amid this tense backdrop, the mission unfolded with breathtaking precision. Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked the lunar surface, planted the American flag, and returned safely to Earth. The world watched grainy footage in collective wonder, but for some, the perfection of it all sparked suspicion. Could something so monumental really be as flawless as it seemed? The most infamous conspiracy theory emerged soon after. The moon landing was a hoax, staged in Hollywood studio to deceive the world. This idea gained momentum in 1976 with Bill Kaysing's book, We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion Swindle. Kaysing, a former technical writer with no expertise in aerospace, argued that NASA lacked the capability to send humans to the moon. He suggested the event was filmed in a secret location, possibly Area 51, using props, lighting tricks, and cinematic sleight of hand. His claims ignited a firestorm of skepticism that persists today, fueled by everything from books and documentaries to online forums. Over time, specific anomalies in the Apollo footage became rallying points for doubters. The waving flag, the missing stars, the lack of a blast crater. These theories, while captivating, have been systematically debunked, but their enduring appeal offers a window into the human psyche, one drawn to mystery and mistrust. Let's start with the waving flag, a favorite among skeptics. In the vacuum of space, where there's no air to ripple fabric, why did the American flag appear to flutter? The answer lies in its design. NASA engineered the flag with a horizontal rod along the top to keep it extended, mimicking the look of a breeze-blown banner. When astronauts twisted the pole into the lunar soil, the fabric bunched and moved, and without air resistance, that motion lingered longer than it would on Earth. Far from evidence of a soundstage, the flag's behavior aligns perfectly with the physics of a low-gravity, airless environment. Then there's the absence of stars in the photographs, a glaring omission to conspiracy theorists who argue it proves a studio setting. But photography offers a simpler explanation. The lunar surface, bathed in harsh sunlight, required camera settings with fast shutter speeds and small apertures to avoid overexposure. Stars, faint and distant, were too dim to register under these conditions. It's a phenomenon familiar to anyone who's tried. Snapping a night sky photo in a brightly lit city, the glare drowns out the subtle lights. The stars were there, the cameras just couldn't see them. The Van Allen radiation belts present a more technical challenge. These bands of charged particles, trapped by Earth's magnetic field, were cited as a lethal barrier no human could cross. Critics claim the astronauts would have been fried by radiation, rendering the mission impossible. Yet NASA anticipated this. The Apollo spacecraft followed a carefully plotted trajectory that skirted the belt's densest regions, and the astronauts passed through in under 2 hours. Their total radiation exposure was about 10 millisieverts, equivalent to a year's worth of natural background radiation on Earth, and well below dangerous levels. Modern studies of astronaut dosimetry records confirm this, debunking the myth of an impassable hazard. Another supposed smoking gun is the lack of a blast crater beneath the lunar module. Surely, a rocket engine powerful enough to land on the moon would carve a dramatic hole? In reality, The descent engine throttled down to a gentle 3,000 pounds of thrust as it neared the surface, dispersing dust rather than gouging rock. The moon's topsoil, a fine layer of powdery regolith over solid bedrock, didn't react like wet earth sand. Photos from later missions like Apollo 15 show subtle disturbances in the soil, consistent with a controlled landing, not a Hollywood oversight. Perhaps the most theatrical theory involves Stanley Kubrick, the visionary director behind 2001: A Space Odyssey. Some claim he was recruited to stage the moon landing, leveraging his filmmaking genius to fool the world. This notion, popularized by a satirical mockumentary, collapses under scrutiny. Kubrick's film, with its low, stylized visuals, bears little resemblance to the raw, handheld quality of the Apollo footage. Lighting analysis further disproves the idea. Moon photos show single, sharp shadows from the sun, unlike the multiple light sources of a studio. Kubrick himself dismissed the rumor, and no credible evidence has ever surfaced to support it. These debunked theories, while entertaining, highlight a broader truth. The moon landing's sheer audacity invites disbelief. The Apollo program pushed the boundaries of what humanity thought possible, and in that gap between imagination and reality, conspiracy theories flourish. Yet, science has consistently upheld the mission's authenticity. Photographs from lunar orbiters, like NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, reveal landing sites, footprints, and discarded equipment exactly where they should be. Soviet tracking data, eager to expose any American ruse, corroborated the journey. The 382 kilograms of moon rocks brought back, analyzed worldwide and distinct from Earth's geology, stand as tangible proof. The hoax narrative, for all its allure, doesn't hold up. But what if some conspiracy theories weren't entirely baseless? Beyond the noise of faked landings and Hollywood plots, a few lesser-known claims have quietly crossed into the realm of fact, revealing hidden layers to the Apollo story. These aren't the sensational tales of stage sets, but subtler truths about secrecy, risk, and the blurred lines between science and security. One such theory whispered that NASA concealed the true health risks of space travel. During the space race, the agency projected an image of unflappable confidence. Astronauts were modern heroes, fearless and invincible. Yet, rumors persisted that radiation posed a graver threat than admitted. Decades later, science caught up with the speculation. A 2016 study published in Nature Scientific Reports analyzed mortality data from Apollo astronauts and found a striking pattern. Those who traveled beyond low Earth orbit, like the Apollo 11 crew, faced a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease. The culprit? Galactic cosmic rays and solar radiation, which penetrate deeper in space than on Earth. While NASA knew radiation was a factor, shielding the spacecraft with aluminum and monitoring doses, the long-term effects weren't fully understood in 1969. Publicly, the risks were downplayed to maintain morale and momentum. This wasn't a sinister cover-up, but a strategic omission that later proved prescient, lending credence to early skeptics. Another theory posited that the Apollo mission served a military agenda, a notion dismissed as Cold War paranoia until declassified documents told a different story. The space race wasn't just about prestige. It was a proving ground for technology with strategic implications. The Lunar Orbiter program, launched in the mid-1960s to map the moon for Apollo landing sites, had a covert partner, the CIA. Declassified records reveal that the agency co-funded these missions to refine satellite imaging, potentially for terrestrial espionage. While the orbiter's primary goal was lunar reconnaissance, their high-resolution cameras doubled as tools to monitor Soviet activity from space. The Apollo program itself wasn't a military operation, but its technological advancements, like guidance systems and heat shields, fed directly into defense projects. This overlap, once a fringe suspicion, underscores how space exploration and national security were entwined. A more tangible conspiracy came to light in 2009, when NASA admitted it had lost the original Apollo 11 telemetry tapes, hundreds of reels containing raw data from mission. For years, theorists had claimed the agency was hiding critical evidence, perhaps to mask a hoax or obscure flaws. The truth was less dramatic, but no less revealing. The tapes, stored in a chaotic post-mission archive, were likely overwritten or misplaced during the 1970s as NASA repurposed magnetic reels for other projects. The loss wasn't intentional deception, but bureaucratic negligence, a rare misstep for an agency known for precision. Fortunately, the broadcast footage was preserved via TV conversions, and the scientific data was redundantly recorded elsewhere. Still, the incident fueled speculation and validated a kernel of distrust. Even NASA wasn't infallible. These confirmed truths paint a nuanced picture. The moon landing wasn't a fabrication, but it wasn't an open book either. The health risks, military ties, and lost tapes reveal a program shaped by the pressures of its era, political urgency, scientific unknowns, and the need to project perfection. They also show how conspiracy theories can act as distorted mirrors, reflecting real concerns through a lens of exaggeration. The idea of a staged landing may be fantasy, but the unease about government transparency and unchecked ambition isn't unfounded. Why do these theories, debunked or verified, endure? The moon landing arrived at a crossroads in history. The late 1960s were a time of upheaval. Vietnam, civil unrest, and assassinations had eroded faith in institutions. NASA's triumph offered hope, but its scale and secrecy invited doubt. Conspiracy theories thrive in such climates, feeding on gaps in knowledge and the human instinct to question authority. The Apollo missions, for all their brilliance, couldn't escape this dynamic. Even today, with high-definition images of lunar landing sites freely available, a 2019 Gallup poll found that 6% of Americans still believe the moon landing was staged, a testament to the power of narrative over evidence. The few theories that turned out true don't undermine the Apollo achievement, they enrich it. They remind us that history is rarely a straight line. It's a tapestry of ambition, compromise, and unintended consequences. The astronauts' footsteps on the moon remain a pinnacle of human daring, but the shadows cast by secrecy and speculation are part of that legacy too. In peeling back these layers, we're left with a challenge: to marvel at what we've accomplished while sharpening our skepticism, to embrace the wonder of the unknown without losing sight of the facts. The moon landing stands as both a beacon of truth and a mirror for our doubts, a duality that ensures its story and its conspiracies will never fade. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support Scary Phil. See you in the next conspiracy theory.